Thanks for hanging in there, guys. I know this one's a hard one. We're on InDesign CC 2021, chapter in a book, classroom in a book, chapter number 4, working with objects, and this is part number 5. So we're just barely played with rounding out these corners. The next thing we're going to do is play with transforming and rotating objects. So let's go ahead and do a view, fit spread in window. Now remember we put this object in upside down. We did that on purpose. There's a few ways to turn it around. We can do Control plus and zoom in. We can go outside the corners and we can get that rounded arrow and do it by hand. Or we can go over here to our properties and do minus 180 here, and it'll make it exactly. Oh, somehow I did it wrong. So let's make 180. So let's make it perfect. And I'm going to use my arrows to kind of nudge it down. And I don't love that because it's going over the address. So let's go ahead and move it back up. I could do it and arrange send it back, and it should let me slide it behind it. Nope, it's on a different layer. That's why. All right, so that's how you can rotate and move some. That's one way to rotate and move objects. So next thing we're going to do is rotate an image in its frame. So let's go ahead to the cow lily up here. Want to go ahead and play with that just a little bit. We want to go and make it fit a little bit better. So if I just click and turn, I'm actually going to turn the entire box, which I don't want to do. So I actually want to hit that content grabber, get the other color of frame, and then rotate it. And you can see it's going to rotate in the box without necessarily rotating the entire frame. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit my shift, make it just a little bit bigger, bring it down, go over a little bit, until I'm happier with it. All right, so that's one way to do it. Now let's go ahead and learn how to align multiple objects. Let's do a Control S and save, Control minus. Let's come down here to our logo and partial class calendar. Let's go ahead and do a selection tool and highlight both of those elements at once. And we're going to use our align tools in order to align this one. So we want to align it to the actual page. So over here in align, my first button says, what do you want to align it to? I'm going to align it to the page. And then I'm going to tell it to align the horizontal centers. So we want align, that's horizontal centers. And see how it's automatically going to align it to the page for us. So there's a lot less guesswork. So I'm going to select on my pasteboard, do a Control S and save. Now we're going to go ahead and come down a little bit, and you see we've got these assortment of messy icons. So it seems kind of like a nightmare, but it's really not going to be that bad. So we're going to align to what's called a key object. So the first thing we're going to do is use our selection tool, and we're going to select all 8 of these. We're going to hit Shift, we're going to hit the tomato and add that one as well. And now we're going to hit the tomato again, and it's going to have a nice dark red border. So what's that telling us is that is a key object. So we want to go to our align right edges. So here we've got left edge. So here we have the right edge. And if we look to it, it says align to key object. So it's automatically going to align all of those for you and make your life a whole lot easier. So now let's go ahead and deselect and Control S and save. So now we need to scale a couple of these. So 2 of our icons are a little bit too small. So I'm going to click one. I'm going to shift click the other, and I'm going to hold shift and drag up until it's about the same width as my other trowel. And it's okay that it's, make it a little bit bigger. It's okay that it's on top of it. We're going to play with that here in a minute. So now they're the same size. I'm going to grab that tomato and I'm going to drag it down, and you're going to see that you get those little arrows that say, okay, this is the same width now apart. So you should get all of those to be about the same width apart. And there we go. So now I've got those. Let's do Control S and save. So definitely use the software, make it do the work for you. So now we're going to go ahead and transform multiple items at once because we want to go ahead and add these icons up here at the top. So how do we do that? The first thing we're going to do is we have to make some copies of these items. So let's grab our selection tool and let's grab our trowel and hit Alt and Shift and drag it straight up. Let go of your mouse, let go of your keys, and now it makes a copy. So now we want to go ahead and drag our tomato. So I'm going to grab Alt and bring my tomato up, grab my pot, grab my tree, go ahead and grab my sun, move the sun way over here. All right, so now let's go ahead and make sure the sun is on this red guide right here. And my trowel is straight up, so I'm going to go ahead and shift select all of those. Now let's go ahead and we're going to align it. So we want to align to the selection. So we want here align to selection is right. And we want distribute horizontal centers. So here we've got that horizontal centers. And see how it's going to go ahead and automatically stretch those out for you. All right, so let's go ahead and select out. Select that trowel again. And let's go ahead and rotate it. So we're going to use that reference point is our center position right up here at the top. And we want to rotate it 30 degrees for the angle. So here's another place to do that. So 30 degrees and tab. And so it's going to put it on its side a little bit. And now you're thinking, great, now I've got to do that to all the other ones. There's an easy way to do it. Let's go ahead and drag across all 4 of these. And let's go to Object, Transform again, and do the sequence individually. And they're all going to turn one at a time and be perfect. All right, let's do a Control S and save. Make sure we don't have anything selected. So now if you look up here, we've got kind of this funky leaf going on with our logo. Not loving it too much, so let's go ahead and take a peek. Let's grab our selection tool and grab that logo. And we're actually going to use the select content button. It's this funky kind of bar graph looking, flowchart looking one here at the top. So we want select content. So the first thing it selects is that little skyline, which is not necessarily what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the next one. So I don't want that to be purple. Let's go ahead, instead of making that purple, let's go ahead and make that one, what do they want it? Green, bright, medium. Okay. Then I'm going to do escape. And I'm going to go to my content selector. Grab that next one. Instead, I'm going to do my fill over on this side since it's not on top. And let's go ahead and make this one green, medium. And let's do the next one over. Okay, so now we're getting that purple. And let's do that one, the fill, the brightest green. So you can see that there's ways to move within a grouped object without having to necessarily do all those selections just perfectly. So let's do a Control S and save. And let's do Control minus and zoom back out. We're going to play with our type on a path a little bit. And we're almost done with this one. So for now, I'm going to move these 2 objects out of the way. And if I go to my pasteboard, Control minus, I've got these 2 paths right here. I'm going to go ahead and bring them in. These are already set up to be paths, so we can put our type on a path. So what we're going to do, got drag select, we're going to bring those over. We're going to come over here to our type tool and grab that text for partial class calendar. So if we triple click it, oh, you know why? I bet it's on a layer that's, nope, it's not. Okay. So I'm going to copy it with a Control C. I'm going to come down here to my type tool. I want to get my type on a path until I get it right here above my path, and I'm going to do Control V and paste it. And you're going to say, that's great, but it's upside down. They intentionally made it upside down so that we have to play with it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is hit escape. And now let's grab our type. Let's go type on a path and options. And make sure your preview is set. And we're going to go ahead and tell it to flip. So it will be on the right correct side. And everything else is set the way we like it. So now let's say OK. Now let's play with the font just a little tiny bit. Let's click into the text and triple click. So we've got it, or Control A, select all the text. Here we go. Nope, I did about 4,000 times. All right, and we want it to be Myriad Pro Bold. So I'm going to go ahead and change my thing, Myriad Pro Bold. Okay, and I want to go ahead and change it to about 24 points. And tab. And I think that's all we need to do to that one. So let's escape so we can return to the selection tool. All right, now we're going to go ahead and grab that other one. So let's grab that April to August. So let's grab our type tool and grab that April to August and copy it. Copy. And let's go grab our type on a path. Bring it down here and paste. Undo. Okay, there we go. All right, so I know this one's extra. I'm going to get rid of that one. Come on. I think I'm killing my computer here a little bit. And I know we're done with that one, so we're going to delete that. It's going a lot slow. All right, do a Control S and save what we've got so far. Let's go ahead and click on this guy. Let's grab our text tool. Select all, Control A. Come on, babe. All right, and we want to make it 20 points. So it's basically the only change we're making on this one. So we can't do 20. We have to write 20 in and tab. All right, so now we want to get rid of the actual path. We don't want to see the black lines sitting on, so I'm going to drag select both of those. I'm going to come over here to my stroke, and for my stroke, for the color, I'm going to tell it none. So now I've got those kind of side by side. I'm going to move my partial calendar over here, my April over here, move my logo kind of in between. Totally up to you as to where you're going to put your logo. I kind of like it in between. The book has it underneath, which I think looks weird. So there's my logo. So I'm going to do a Control S and save. And we've got one more element to do, and that is to add our little element right here to featured blossoms. And so we're going to go ahead and add a line. So grab our line tool. Remember, lines are strokes. So we're going to grab our line, and it's going to say, what kind of line do you want? I'm going to hold Shift and draw it. And you're going to see nothing happens because I don't have a stroke. So let's go ahead and change it so that our stroke is 4 points. Let's change it to our color to be, what color do they want? Purple warm. And a tint of 60%. So they don't want it totally, they want to back off the color a little bit, and tab. All right, now we want to go to stroke and we want to change a few other things. So let's go to window, come down here to stroke, and let's get that whole panel open. And our start end is going to be a circle solid. And our end is going to be the triangle. You can choose any one you like. And let's scale those so that the first one is a little bit smaller. It's 75%, not 745. And tab, and let's go over to the other one. And let's make it bigger at 200%. So now you can kind of see we've got both of those elements there. And our file saved. And let's go ahead and close it. Now let's go ahead and take a peek at what we created today. So let's kind of collapse some of those panels down. And let's go to our preview mode. So what am I looking for when I grade this one? I'm looking at your page 1. I'm looking for, do you have featured blossoms? Do you have the purple arrow? Do you have the text right here? Did you manage to get these into columns and have them line up the top? Here we should have 6 graphics that you've played with the gaps, played with the size, rotated the images, added some captions. Should have a logo here. Should have a logo up here, and urban garden and spring should be here. I'm looking for, did you round these corners? Did you play with getting this bent a little bit? Did you manage to line up all your logos here and your icons? Did you make them bigger? Did you get this type on a path? Did you add this logo here in the middle, and did you recolor it? I've got your image here that you did all your text wrapping on. Here you've got your shape that you changed the shapes and you cut this out. I'm also going to look on your pasteboard to see your couple of shapes that you were playing with for your Pathfinder. So there should be something happening there. So then when you've got it all perfect, Control Save, make sure you've got no errors. Let's do a File and Package. It's going to say, let's package it. Where do we want to put it? We want to make sure that it goes into our lesson number 4. Instead of folder, PKG, and package. We're going to come out to our, once it does all this, it's got a few more moving pieces, so it takes a little longer. Go to my folder, come here to my lessons. So we're on number 4. I should have this one with package, double click it. Let's make sure we've got fonts, links, IDML, INDD, PDF. That's perfect. Right click, send to compressed folder. And you will turn in that zipped copy. So I know this one was tough. I know it's a lot, but they do get much easier from here. Talk to you later.